Okay, so I'm going to make a better video of the 2025 Giant TCR Pro SL versus the 2022 Pro Zero. These are actually both the Zero models, separated by a 3-year difference. And I've had a chance to give this the first ride, and I'll tell you a little bit more about the frame differences that you can see. I mean, right off the bat, you can see these. That's the best part there. Boom. In my opinion, the most beautiful part is the elimination of that. That is like disgusting. I always hated the way that looked. And these seat stays, these skinny seat stays, they actually remind me a lot of the old Super 6s. You used to be able to pinch these together on the Super 6. They were so compliant. So, very cool. Look at these guys. Okay, so here is my new favorite part, which is this rear area with these seat stays. It's almost like the Madone in that they know that you need to let the air out the rear and open this area up. And here's the old version, which for whatever reason they completely closed off that area. And this is the new seat tube, which is far more truncated. There's no like long tail teardrop profile, and it's probably a little bit wider as well, but it is completely flat off the back. And if you look towards the bottom, towards the front derailleur, you'll see in the next shot a big difference in there it is. So that's kind of, you can see the cutout into the wheel, and then it's way more elongated for the aero profile in the back, and it does look a little thinner as well. And this is the down tube. It's hard to see in the photo, but this is way more rectangular. It's not like a flat, like a pancake flat, wide down tube. And compared to the older one, you can see how much flatter and wider that is with rounded corners. It looked cool before, but definitely the new 2025 version is it tapers down towards the bottom bracket, and it's more angular, in the corners of this flat rectangle. And this is the new cockpit. Actually, this is my favorite part. I went to 40 millimeter bars, and that flare out to 42 in the bottom. It's really the best of both worlds. You really have to do that now, and I feel like my hands are on the hoods at all times. Like, there's no time when I'm taking my hands off the hoods, and for comfort, here's the older version. You can just see so much wider. The head tube, I couldn't really see a difference. There probably is a difference, but I certainly couldn't see it. But that whole bar setup looks ridiculously wide. There's another shot of the entire profile of the seat stay. Those seat stays are way more circular and not flattened out like they are on the 2022. You'll see. So that's kind of like a cylindrical shape all the way down, and then you can see here towards the bottom, or even up the top a little bit, they're flattened out. But I guess that makes a little more sense here. Here you can see how the air can kind of travel through over the rear wheel. Looks really nice. See kind of my garden in the background here. It's just almost like a fairing to some degree. And there's the profile of this intersection of the seat tube, top tube, and chainstay. It's way beefier, I guess, for clamping load. Here's one. So in the new tarmac, I think what do they call it in the specialized tarmac? The speed sniffer. So in the 2022 version of the TCR, you'll see in a second that there was a pronounced gap here. Here it's flattened out between the fork and the down tube. So yeah, you can see it's the opposite of what you could see Specialized doing, in that the aero frames were actually molding the fork back to bridge this gap as much as possible here. And then there's a shot of, you can see the width of the down tube relative to the bottom bracket. It's not flush, but it's definitely getting there. It's quite wide, and you'll see on the 2025 version just the difference, because in the 2025 version you'll see there is a pronounced taper down on the down tube, and then it has to flare back out for the width of the bottom bracket. It's the same bottom bracket standard. Definitely, I don't know why they do that. Maybe they were trying to save a couple of grams of carbon fiber, or for aero purposes, something like that. Maybe it's how they got the stiffness to weight ratio. And then here, showing the profile of that taper. It is, and then it gets way less rounded, harder corners towards the bottom. And here it's flat. You can also see there's no ingress point for cables anymore on the new version. The 2025 TCR is electronic only, and there's no taper at the bottom on this one. Well, maybe somewhat. And then on the TCR Pro, there was a speed sensor on the chainstay, on the left chainstay. Now that is gone for the TCR SL. I hated that stupid thing. Yeah, there it is. I've never used it. It's never done anything good. It's probably a serious aero penalty because of the interaction with the rear wheel. You know, it's just, you don't want, I don't know if you want that hanging out. I'd imagine. Yeah, I'll say, here you go. There's the bolting, where the caliper interfaces with the fork. There is a molding there. And then here you can see on my 2022, that is failing. That is why I upgraded to a new frame, is that here's a little pro tip, is that you have to make sure that you can drain the water out of your fork because the inlet point for the disc brakes has a little rubber grommet, and water can get in there and settle down there, and it'll create a reaction, and you'll get that failure. So thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.